Good day everyone. For today's video, I will discuss the concept that we do and use every day. But before that, allow me to introduce myself. I am Reynalyn P. Eje, a BS Ed for Social Studies student at Negros Oriental State University. Now look at the pictures around me. What can you say about them? What similarities do you see in the picture? Right. These images show the exchange of information between two or more people, and this process is called communication. According to Weekly 1969, communication comes from the Latin word communicare, which means to share or to make common. People use messages to transmit and generate meaning. When people communicate with each other, they exchange various forms of meaning, such as ideas and information, through a common system of symbols. Human communication takes place on many levels, from the simplest interpersonal and small group exchanges among friends to mass communication, as experienced in public speeches, magazines, or news broadcasts. In communication, it is not limited only to the use of verbal words. Communication takes place with the use of nonverbal words such as gestures, symbols, and facial expressions. All communication happens because participants in the process share an understanding of certain symbols and exchange them in a systematic or orderly way. Communication serves five major purposes, and this is to inform, to express feelings, to imagine, to influence, and to meet social expectations. Each of these purposes reflected in a form of communication.
First, informative communication. Informative communication is used to inform the audience. When people share knowledge about the world in which they live, they are participating in the process of informative communication. Informative messages attempt to present an objective that is truthful and unbiased. Teachers use informative communication to teach an audience or students something using objective factual information. For example, teachers giving lectures, reports, and demonstration to the students. So the informative communication is being used by the teacher to provide students with useful and interesting information. Now, the student as the receiver, they are expected to recognize the subject or purpose, identify the main points, pick out important details, summarize information, make some assumptions, ask relevant questions, and draw additional conclusions. Second is effective communication. Effective communication is the process through which people express feelings about things, themselves, and others. Effective messages are expressions of positive and negative feelings about places, objects, events, policies, and ideas are called opinions. Expressions of feelings about oneself. Expressions of both positive and negative feelings about others is vital to maintaining close relationships. Expression of positive feelings to let friends and loved ones know that they are valued. In school, effective communication affects other students in a way that it helps build relationship through interaction with classmates or teachers. It allows you to establish a connection when you take time to interact with others. This contributes to a friendly environment in the classroom, which can also increase participation in any academic or social interaction. For example, teachers will ask the student to give their opinion about inflation. So the students will express his thoughts in relation to the topic. Effective communication also contributes to the formation of self-concept. Through effective exchanges, children form opinions about themselves. As students attend school, interactions with teachers and other students continue to influence their self-concepts. Third is imaginative communication. When we say imaginative communication, it is a process through which invented situations are created, and in most cases, shared. Examples of imaginative messages are jokes and stories, speculate, daydream, or make believe. People also engage in imaginative communication when they appreciate fictional messages found in books, magazines, newspapers, films, television dramas, plays, and conversation. Imaginative communication plays a major role in the lives of all people. Preschool children watch television cartoons and read picture books. They appreciate stories read to them by older children and adults. In elementary school, children encounter an increasing number of imaginative messages as they learn to read and explore literature. Through writing activities, children create their own literature, using the works of others as models. Students create poems, stories, plays, and cartoons as they express their individual creativity. Creative dramatics and role playing enable students to recreate history or understand present events. Secondary school children also introduced to important literary works and in some schools to quality films and media programs. In many high schools, however, students receive a little encouragement to create imaginative messages of their own. Gifted students find a creative outlet in debating, drama, journalism, creative writing, and media activities. The vast majority of students, though, are merely exposed to the imaginings of others through literature. Fourth is persuasive communication. Persuasive communication can be defined as a process through which people attempt to influence the beliefs or actions of others. People begin to influence others even in early life. For example, preschool children learn that they can influence other children and adults by crying, smiling, whining, pointing, tagging, and eventually talking. By the time children enter school, they use a variety of strategies to influence others. Teaching is a social influence process. Teachers influence students to learn. Influencing students to learn requires teachers to find ways to change students' existing attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors. For example, teachers may need to induce a positive attitude toward learning mathematics or science, alter students' beliefs about the causes of World War II, or teachers may need to encourage students to read more books. In order to effect such changes, teachers need to strategize ways to influence, motivate, or persuade students. This process of persuasion, or the selection of verbal and nonverbal messages to effect change, is fundamental to teacher effectiveness. Persuasion always involves communication. The source of communication, or the teacher, seeks to elicit a particular desired response from the receiver or the student. The purpose of the communication is to change, modify, or shape the student's responses.
So those are the major purposes of communication. You may not notice it, but I am very certain that you're able to execute them in your day-to-day communication with other people. This has been Eherin your future teacher, leaving you a message that when it comes to communication, always remember to think before you speak, because whatever has been said is irrevocable unless neuralizer exists. Goodbye and thank you everyone and be safe.